Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. My name is Doug Vincent. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Mastt. So thanks for joining us for today's webinar. Just a short webinar. We would like to keep them nice and tight, but certainly on an important topic, because time is one of the key pillars of project control. So this is, quite a big topic. And unfortunately, in the construction industry, 90% of the projects are delayed. And so we feel like this is a problem worth solving, which is why I've put some attention to it. So I'll introduce my co-presenter, Christina. So you want to say hi, Christina?
Yes. Hi, my name is Christina. I've been working for construction tech startups back in Europe for the last couple of years and joined Mastt earlier this year. And I'm happy to have joined them on their mission.
Cool. Thank you, Christina. So this is recorded, by the way, guys. So afterwards, I'll share the recording with everybody, and the Q&A are enabled. So if you have a question, just drop it in there and we will get to it at the end. So without further ado, we'll jump into the agenda. And I've been a little creative here. I've actually done the agenda a bit differently. Looks very similar to a schedule. So we are here on the agenda and we'll enter the discovery phase, and I'll just talk about the pain points for a moment that we heard from industry on this exact topic before moving into kind of the outcomes of all of those interviews. We'll tell you exactly what we heard, what the big picture was. Next, we'll introduce the module, save time, better decision making, all the good stuff that you're hoping for, and we'll recap a few key features before giving you a live demo. So we'll give you a good few minutes looking at the app so you can eyeball it for yourselves and see how easy it is and how powerful it is for schedule reporting. Now, last but not least, there's always more to do in the construction industry. So we're going to show you some of what's coming with this module, which is very, very exciting. And then at the very end, when we get close to completion, we'll do a quick Q&A. So drop your questions into the Q&A box and we will get to it at the end. And if anyone's interested in seeing those milestones by phase, here is today's agenda in a phase view. Very cool. And you can probably guess how I generated those visuals. Cool. So let's get into it. Pain points. And this is a topic very dear to my heart because I used to be a project manager myself, working for a large consulting company, representing owners like the government, schools, airports, and my life was terrible because I looked after all of the project controls and all the crazy cost sheets. But then equally, we used to have these huge Gantt charts that we generated with Microsoft Project that we'd PDF out, 10 different pages of it, and we would put it in the back of the monthly reports. It was just so silly. No one ever read that document. And then, so what we would do is create a little table manually, put that into the body of our monthly report or our PCG report. And it was just super confusing. It was just lists of dates, start date, baseline date. Again, doesn't really tell us much information, not easy to digest, and a huge waste of time because it's duplicating effort. So through all this pain, I'm going from project, transforming that into spreadsheets, eventually into a Word document, and then sometimes also PowerPoint to do a presentation. So this was a real pain that I lived and a problem very dear to my heart. So I'm really excited, to be solving it. So let me hand over to Christina and we'll talk a bit briefly about what we heard and who we worked with in building this.
Thanks, Doug. So whenever we develop new features at Mastt, we do this in close collaboration with our customers and also industry experts. Project managers we've spoken to are using a mix of tools. Some swear by MS Project, others are sticking with the good old Excel sheets for scheduling. But the common problem they all face is that these tools are just not great for reporting. Sure, they work fine for project managers who are hands-on with schedules every day, but for their clients, it's a different story. It's just they have trouble making sense of these schedules. We also found that different stakeholders need different levels of detail at different stages of the project. For example, in early stages, you might not want to lock in specific dates with a client, but still you want to have a high-level overview of the project's roadmap. And another thing that became clear in our conversations with industry professionals is that they want to avoid double work and save time in the end, right? So they really like the idea of having one single source of truth, like one place where all the data sits and then feeds into different views and visualizations. So now let me introduce you to our new schedule module. It's pretty straightforward. You can think of it as an input-output equation, so to speak. So you start by uploading your schedule, be it from an MS Project file, a P6 file, or even one of our standard templates. But you could also, of course, create a schedule from scratch yourself. That's also always an option. And once it's in, you have different forms of visualizations available, and you can edit them effortlessly. And this already brings us to the core features of this new module. So as I already mentioned, we have a super easy upload. You just drop your MS Project or P6 file in there. There's no need to rebuild anything. We have very flexible visualizations. You can choose from a variety of views and just tailor them to your needs. Also, editing is super simple. So we have a clean and intuitive interface that just lets you tweak your schedule however you want it. And last but not least, our schedule integrates with the existing Mastt dashboard you might have, and you just have a very easy to consume dashboard in just one click. Yeah, so to show you that it's really as good as it sounds, I'm gonna do a short demo and share my screen.
All right, you want to share screen and take over?
Yes. Cool. So this is the initial screen of the schedule module. As I said, you can import either MS Project, P6, or create your own schedule. In this case, I will import an MS Project file to show you how easy that is. So I just select my file. And now this view mirrors the structure of your MS Project file. So in my case, that's the different phases I have. And I want to select all the activities or tasks under those phases as well. And hit import. Cool. So there it is. You can see all your activities and the corresponding phases. And of course, all the dates you need. You could now click on one activity and say, well, this is maybe a key decision that needs to be taken. You can add an icon to add context to that specific activity. You can, of course, change the name of the activity, the phase. You can change the status, all the dates, of course, with an easy date picker, or set it as a start or completion date.
I love those badges. Everybody loves the badges. They're great.
Yeah, so let's imagine your completion date just is delayed. Could happen, right? So let's say it's not the 9th of December, but the 13th. It will show a 4-day delay now. And then usually you need to push back the other activities following to that one as well. So you can just select them and move them in bulk. So you click on move dates, say those 4 days delay will apply to them as well, start date and planned completion date, and your schedule will update and also show the delay on the worm. So this view, I mean, it's obviously why we called it the worm, right? It shows your activities in a sequence, but you can also move to the classic Gantt chart if you prefer that one, or see the activities running in parallel and also like have icons if you like. Cool.
And the phase.
Yeah, true. So the phases view is basically like a rough mapping out of how the project, the timeline looks like if you don't want to communicate specific dates. And on every view, you also have settings to tailor this specific view to your needs. So you could, for example, say, well, I don't want to see delay, or I want to change the width of this worm and wrap it to multiple lines. So it's all possible. It's super flexible. And once you're done editing your schedule, you hit save. And the best thing is you can have a schedule report on your dashboard. So you can easily report on all the visualizations you saw. You'll have some key metrics like the actual completion date and the delay from the baseline, for example, and you just choose the views you want to show, or go with a simple table to show all the activities and their status. So that's it from my side from the demo. Hope you enjoyed it.
Cool. Thanks, Christina. Let me take over. Cool. Now, I think we've just seen like the elimination of a spreadsheet, PowerPoint file, and Word document report without, having to create manually any charts or tables at all. But the favorite benefit of mine is the big boost that executives get, key decision makers, stakeholders, from having high quality visualizations of this super critical information. Like nothing is more important in a schedule driven program as when something is going to be completed, and maybe also being completed with other projects in the program. So having visual information that's not super boring is actually a big, big boost for those decision makers, and so much easier to consume so that they can actually get to what they need to quickly. And it's also consistent. So when you're receiving many reports about schedule, all the tables are different, all the charts are different. No one wants that. Everyone wants consistency. So let's make it easy for those people who are looking at many, many reports month over month. So that is my favorite benefit. But I also empathize a lot with the project managers, being one myself. They want to have a good life. They want to feel good about the projects they're delivering, and they did not sign up to be administrators for life. They want to make an impact, get the project done better, faster. And so we want to save those project managers time. So eliminating spreadsheets, eliminating boring work like building charts and having to transpose data. No one wants to do that. It's not contributing to the completion of the project. So saving time, eliminating those boring tasks. And what that brings about is acceleration, reinvestment of that time. Give time back to the project to do more with less. And since all of this is now scalable, you can create many reports. So report generation is unblocked. It doesn't have to be just one boring table. It can be a chart that says, here's what's coming up, here's what's coming next, here's what's delayed. Richer, better information on the schedule for executive decision making. And of course, when you find a schedule or a template or a report that works for you, standardize it so that you can use that across all of your projects and give value to all of those projects through that standardization. So all of this increases the operational tempo of the business, increases quality, and also increases the quality of life for people who are working on those projects. Okay, now what's coming next? So this is just the beginning.
Yes. So what else is cooking? Right now, we're focused on improving the program level scheduling. So you can see a little sneak peek on the right side. So we want projects to roll up nicely into larger programs of work, so that program managers or portfolio managers are able to report up and manage down effectively. Also, we're working on making it easier to see how your schedule has changed over time, and you'd be able to track changes from the last update or even from day one. And we're not stopping here. So we plan to add more visualizations to the schedule module, especially to help highlight delays or any overdue tasks. And finally, we're developing a work management dashboard to help you stay on top of things. So it will point you to tasks that are coming up or just any activities that might need your attention. And with that, I hand back to Doug.
Cool, guys. Well, look, that brings us to the end of the formal part of the webinar. So we had, 20 minutes assigned to look over those key features, the benefits, and give everyone a bit of a view of the product. But please, if you have any questions, we'll stick around for a few minutes and we'll answer those. But look, thanks heaps for your time, everybody. Really appreciate it. You can head to our website, mastt.com, and get started free today with one project and do all of those things yourself. Otherwise, my email is in the bottom left of this screen, and you can reach out to me personally, and I'll give you all the help that you might need. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We'll sit tight if there's any questions. And everyone will get a copy of this recording not long after today. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.